Hello Cruising World, Mick the Suit Guy with you today. I'm going to give you an update on my most recent cruise. As you may know, we have a lot of cruises booked this year, and recently we did our second cruise on Virgin. So I figured I would give you my honest opinion on how the cruise went. And the way I'm going to do it, because most of the people watching this, you're Carnival cruisers, you know the Carnival way. There'll be some people maybe watch this that haven't, and I apologize for that, but I'm going to gear this video more towards Carnival people so you have something to compare it to. So what I'm going to do is I went around the ship. I took a lot of little snippets of things around the ship. I'm going to show you how they look. So in your mind, you can have a comparison to how it would differ from a Carnival cruise. But I'll give you a couple of the good and the bad. I mean, nothing's ever perfect. I'll start with the bad because, get it off my chest. So there were two things I was really not happy with on this cruise. First one we got, and it was a Super Bowl cruise. So we go on the cruise and we go through the casino, and they got a couple of Super Bowl boxes up. They had a $10 one and a $25 one. So there was 6 of us on the cruise. So we pulled together. We bought 2 boxes on the $25 one. So $50, put it in just for fun, and we got our boxes. We had the numbers for to start the game, but they didn't list how much they were paying out or anything like that. We were lucky enough that we won the first quarter. It was 0-0. Let me add, at the end of the first half, Kansas City had a 3rd and 6. Had they not got that 3rd and 6, it would have been 0-0 at halftime as well, and it would have been 0-0 in the third quarter. Came that close to winning 3, but that's beside the point. So we'd gone down a few times after the start of the game to find out how much we were going to win, and they hadn't posted the amounts yet. And then eventually they posted it, and they said $225. And I'm like, $225? That's not very good for a quarter on a $25 box and a $2,500 pot. Anyway, they must have added it up, because eventually we ended up getting $900, which is very reasonable. But here's the problem. I went to try and get the money, and they said they weren't going to pay me until the end of the cruise. They wanted me to go back in the casino and put more money in the casino. I'm like, I don't really gamble. It was a one-off thing. There was a group of us. We split the pot. I've got to give them their money, and they want it when we go ashore. They would not give me the money. So I go to guest services, and they said, oh, no, we can give you the money, but it's late, because it was like 10:30 at night before we found out. There was no one there. They said, come back in the morning, and we'll get you your money. All right. So I go back in the morning, ask my money, and guess what? Oh, I'm sorry, sir, you can't get that till the end of the cruise. I'm like, oh, God, here we go again. So the casino, no one seems to know, when things like that happen, what the answer is. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. So 2 days later, I went back again, and lo and behold, they gave me the money. But it's the whole principle of that they really didn't know what was going on, and they were trying to keep the money to make me gamble it again before the end of the cruise, which I thought was a little bit shady. So that was one thing. And then there was another thing. On the very last day of the cruise, we were in the beach club at Bimini, and I love the beach club at Bimini. We bought 2 cabanas between us. Now with the cabana, you get $100 bar tab, one on each cabin. But Julie and I booked one each, and everybody else paid, we split the money and they paid us, so we paid for them and they paid us back. So in effect, we have a $100 bar tab on our account. That night, we still had about $250 on board credit, which we would lose. So we were going to go to the casino and gamble. We don't normally gamble. We were like, what the heck, let's go have some fun. Julia likes playing the slot machine, so we'll go play the slot machines. I go down to the slot machine. I had $24.80 on board credit. I'm like, what's going on? I went down to guest services and I said, what happened to this $200 on board credit that was gone? And they said, oh, when you go to the beach club at Bimini, you have to pay taxes on the drinks you got. So we have to take the bar tab off. Once they work out the taxes, we'll put the bar tab back on. And I'm like, at this point, it was 9 o'clock at night. We just finished dinner. And we had to leave at 7:30 the next morning to drive back to Tampa from Miami. And that's a 4 4.5 hour drive. So I didn't want to be out late. And I was like, excuse me? He goes, yeah, well, we'll get it done. It should be done within 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, still nothing. We go back. Oh, we're still working on it. 20 minutes later, we go back. We're still working on it. Eventually, at about 10:15, after 4 times of going back, not complaining, because we're never nasty. We were just trying to explain to them what was going on, and we wanted to do this. They said, all right. So it ended up having to call down to the casino people, put the money back on, and then we could go play. It was 10:45 or so before we could even start playing. Again, we've got to be off the ship at 7:30 the next morning. That was our get off time. So we had to rush it. We had to play at high stakes. We just wanted to sit and enjoy it. We don't play high stakes. We wanted to play low so we could get to bed and go. And then the next morning I woke up and I looked at my portfolio. The taxes were $2.24. So they held back all that money to charge me $2.24. Because we'd gone to the casino and we said to them, listen, it's going to come back. Can we just, can you just put $200 on there? They were going to charge us 7%, which doesn't seem like much, but it was more the principle, because in Carnival you pay 3%. If you play at the tables on your sign and sale card, I believe it's 3%. On Virgin, it's 7%. So, and I just didn't want to pay 7% on principle. Why should I? It's not, it's a few dollars, but it's the principle. And they would not budge. They would not budge. So they were 2 things that gave me a bit of a sour grapes in my mouth. But overall, let me tell you, it was a fantastic cruise. It's an amazing ship. The food is unbelievable. The crew was great. Everything is great. There's nothing else I could like. That was, you could say that was nitpicking, but they're pretty big nitpicks. I wasn't happy with them. I still believe that the Virgin behind the scenes system is very far behind. I think they rushed into usage and they bought it out before it was ready, and they're still trying to make it ready. So I still think there's a lot of issues that way. But other than that, I think it's a fantastic cruise line. I think it was a great experience. They do this thing on board where you can purchase a return offer where you will pay $300 and you will get $300 off of your next cruise. So that's a wash. But you'd also get $300 on board credit. And if you book within 2 months, you'll get $600 on board credit. And everybody else that was on the cruise with us bought that offer, if that means anything to you. And they were all Carnival cruisers that had not cruised Virgin before. So, again, that was a long explanation, but I feel like I had to get it out why I was unhappy. But other than that, I had nothing I wasn't happy with. One thing. And I'll show you this in the video. The beds are too low. You cannot put your case. If you've got a big case, it will not fit under the bed. And that's kind of a big deal for us if we want to go on a long cruise. You would have to find somewhere else in the room to put your cases. On a Carnival cruise, we can put the bags under the bed and they're hidden. Can't do that on these, and I'll show you that in the video. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you a bunch of little clips from across the cruise and the comparisons, just to give you an idea of the differences between the 2 cruise lines. But I can tell you this: a Virgin cruise is nothing like a Carnival cruise, for good and for bad. Not much bad, mostly good. The food is next level. There's no cruise director, so there's hardly any announcements. If you want to go ashore, and I'll show you this in the video, you get a note on your app. There's no announcement. You'll get notified on your app, like on the Hub app, for example. You can now go ashore. There's no announcement. So yeah, it's a different animal, shall we say? So have a look at these differences, and you can gauge for it. But please don't think I'm being too down on them for the 2 examples. The chances of those things happening to me again are minimal, and I'd be ready for them if I was. But, just to be aware that you may have a few things that catch you short that you might not be expecting. That's all. All right, take a look at this. I waffled on for way too long. All right, so we were on Virgin Scarlet Lady. It's a 5-day cruise on February 11th, 2024. Our second of 11 cruises this year, going from Miami to Cozumel, Bimini, their little beach club we went to there, and then back to Miami. We're going to show you some of the areas. This is not a full ship tour. It's just giving you a few comparison ideas to see the differences between Virgin and Carnival. This is an area called the Athletic Club. It's at the back of deck 16. There's a little net there I'll show you a picture of in a minute. You can crawl onto that. You won't walk onto it. You'll crawl onto it and get a cool little picture. And this gets pretty busy during the day on all these beds, but it's a nice way to relax for the day if you can get a hold of one of these. There's a bar right there. That's our friend Tim on that net taking a picture. You can see the ocean underneath and behind. And it looks even better from up here because from that angle it looks like you're actually over the ocean. This is up on deck 17 looking down. One thing that's weird on this ship, there's a deck 13. I know Carnival never has a deck 13 because it's unlucky. I'm not sure if other cruise lines have a deck 13. If you know, put it in the comments. Yeah, that's looking down. It kind of like summer landing on the XL class ships to me, if you like. A bit of a different area. But yeah, really nice and enjoyable. This is the Rockstar area. It's at the front of deck 16. This is exclusive to people with Rockstar accommodations. They're the more expensive suites. And, I couldn't afford them, but I couldn't get in because you need the pass to get in. This is the casino. There's the main casino desk. Here's all the fruit machines, slot machines. Not a huge number. I don't think there's even 100 machines, and there's only about 7 or 8 tables. But it's not really a gambling cruise, so it was never so busy you couldn't get a seat either if you really wanted to. But not the largest of casinos. Certainly not as large as the Mardi Gras or the XL class casinos. There's also a place here called the Manor. We're just walking past it on the right. Try and make sure you visit in there. I'll show you a picture I took with Julie in there. So there's a cool photo op you can get once you walk in there. And there's the bar. And that's the casino done already. That's it. That's the casino. This is a place called the Dock. It's on deck 7 at the back of the ship. It's a Mediterranean themed area. We like it a lot. They do a lot of good food here. It's free, including stuff like octopus. And on happy hour, on most sea days, they'll have like some specials that you can go and try out. Did tend to be a bit the same each day, but something different. And as you'll see, a nice relaxing area. We really enjoyed coming up here for sailaways, especially on the first cruise we did when it was just Julie and I. But a nice area. They'll have bands playing. Well, not bands much as more the musicians, not the full-on bands. Just nice and relaxing. The bar's right there. And you'll see there's plenty of beds and places to hang out. Like I said, we really enjoyed this for sail away. We're not really the sort of people that will sit on one of these for hours. Well, I'm not. Julie probably would. But I don't have that sort of attention span. And you'll see they have some umbrellas in case it gets hot, which is nice. And this was a beautiful sunrise this day. So that's an idea of the sort of view you get. This is the grounds. This is the coffee on deck 7 midship. These pastries here, they are free. Really, really good quality. The coffee, it's about $5.50, I think Julie said, for a regular coffee. She doesn't get anything too fancy, so I'm not sure what the other prices were. I don't drink coffee. But not overly expensive and no tips, no gratuities, because it's all included. A nice touch, they had this table there with power. So if you want to feel like you're in a coffee bar at home and catch up on some work, you can bring your laptop down or whatever and sit there and have a cup of coffee and do some work. They have these spread around the ship on each floor, telling you what is on each floor. I wish they told you where on each floor they were, like aft, mid, forward, but they don't. You kind of have to work it out. There's no map that I saw. There might be one on the app, but there's not on the decks like there is on Carnival. Moving back up to deck 16, I told you I was going all over the place. I deliberately did this. I didn't want to make it look too structured, just some ideas. To give you an idea of some of the fitness stuff they have, there was a little boxing ring with a punch bag. There's an open punch bag there. These are all free. All the classes are free. You just have to sign up for them because they do fill up. So you can't just show up and expect to get in. They have spin classes, you name it, they have it. It's all included in the price. You see all this workout stuff is built up down here. Some more beds. Pretty sure they put pillows on these during the day, but they couldn't leave them out overnight because of the risk of wind. So I'm not sure exactly how. Maybe you have to pick them up and return them. I don't know. But I never went on those. And I didn't really see them being used much either. And we just keep walking down here for a bit. Then I'll show you the jogging track. We're coming up on the left is the basketball court, which, I don't know, to me it looks thinner than the ones on Carnival. Oh, look, there's a seesaw. All sorts of little cool things that they throw in on Virgin. It looks a bit narrower to me. And on the port days, they turned it into a pickleball court. There's an all-gender restroom. They have a lot of those. I actually like the fact that I have all-gender restrooms because on Carnival sometimes I need to go. And when I got to go, I got to go. And if I, by mistake, goes to the women's, I got to then find the men's. Here, didn't have to worry about it. So we're going to head up here and I'll show you the jogging track. One thing I did like about this jogging track, or maybe more the people on board, everybody seemed to understand that you go one way. Those that know that on Carnival, most of the time you get people running both ways, which is really annoying. On here, I only ever saw people running one way, which was very nice. And there's an area called the Perch. That's actually, we're up on deck 17 now. They do a few events up there, not too many, but some events they'll do up there. And you'll see some of the views. Nothing is too high to see over the barriers, and a lot of it's into the ship, so there's no worries about falling off. There's that net again looking out that we started you with. Now this is another unique thing. It's the WPT Poker Room, the World Poker Tour. So they actually had genuine satellite events in here during the week. They had buy-ins on tournaments, anything from $50. I believe they had one at $800 that was for a satellite buy-in. They had a $200 one, they had $100 ones, all different denominations of buy-ins. I didn't play because I'm not that good, but a couple of the people in our group did. One of them won quite a bit. And out the front here, so there's several tables inside, and there was a schedule of all the tournaments in here that's also shown on the app. So if you are a poker player, this is a very good place for you to be. Some of the unique shops they have, well, not shops, but places, areas. There's a tattoo parlor right there. You might think it's weird getting a tattoo at sea, but it works. Again, the same person who did the poker got a tattoo. It looked great. Liquor store, makeup store, and a hair salon. There's other shops. Again, watch my full ship tour video to see what shops there are in there. That's the bottom of the roundabout area where you can go between deck 6 and deck 7. Here's a video of something I didn't like. You could not fit your cases under the bed like you can on Carnival. This was a definite negative for me, especially as we like to go on longer cruises, which case we will need more cases. And we could find places for 2 cases in our room that would be out the way, but for any more, it would have been difficult. So I wish they raised the beds up a little bit, enough to get cases underneath. That's a poor decision for me on their behalf. One more look at the opposite side of the jogging track, because there's something unique also I want to show you here. We're looking down into the basketball court, but you see those white fences, almost like a white picket fence? That was the crew area, private crew area up top. The fences are so you can't see in, but I like the fact that it was in the middle of the ship. It's a large area. Crew morale was really high on this ship. I talked to several crew members, and they all talked about how much they love it and how they all were looking forward to coming back after their break. I don't always see that lately on Carnival, I'm not going to lie. And there was a nice photo opportunity there with a Virgin sign that you could get up on there. There's one on the other side too. Another example, there's an accessible all-gender restroom. And again, I like them. There's not a huge number of restrooms on the ship, so be aware of where they are. They're not all gender. There are some unique to male or female, but there's a good number of all gender ones, which I like for many reasons. A quick look at the pizza place. I just wanted to show you, I'm not really showing you many restaurants on here because, again, I'm going to put a link to my full restaurant tour in the comments, but just to give you an idea of what the pizza place looks like in comparison to a Carnival one. And yes, it does get busy. This is 6:30, 6:45 in the morning, so no, it's not busy right now. They haven't even opened, but once they do, it does get busy in here. And we'll come out here, and on the left is the ice cream place, which is called Lick Me Till I Scream, if you can believe that. Very uniquely named place. It's on the left right here. And it will show you the menu of what flavors they have at the back there, and then the different cone sizes you'll see in a second that you can order, or you just want a regular ice cream in a cup, you can do that too. And then on this particular day, you're going to see they were open from 2 until 10. Varies from day to day. All the times are in the hub. Another thing I like about the hub, you can look at everything in advance that's going to happen, although they do add a lot of stuff during the week, but you get an idea. Coming up on the left is the Draft House. This is basically a craft beer bar. And on the outside of that window is a nice little area. It's kind of like the lanai on a lot of Carnival ships. Not a lot of people know about it, so it's empty. Now we're looking back down at that roundabout area, which is going to take you from deck 7 down to deck 6. This is the Virgin Scarlet Lady. I know all the ships pretty much have the exact same design. I'm not sure everything within the ship is called the same. So I don't know if that's called the roundabout on all of their ships.
Here's a record store, and on the left coming up, you'll see where the DJ plays. Straight ahead on the right is the shore excursions, and straight ahead is the future cruise desk. They do push the future cruises quite a lot. I want to show you a quick snippet of the steakhouse, primarily because I want to show you these chairs. If I was to say they are a snug fit, would that make sense? This is down on deck 6 at the back of the ship. Yeah, those chairs are snug. So if you need a little bit more room in a chair, I would make sure you let them know, because they do have some chairs that are not like that. Going back up to the upper decks, this is deck 16 looking down to deck 15. That's the main pool. You've got some beds there. There'll be a bar at the back. There's DJs playing up top. Nice area this, isn't it? There's some beds around the back as well, and some regular day beds as well. And then over here on the right, you're going to see some little red and white cabanas. These are free, first come, first served. They do have some more private pay cabanas. I couldn't get in to get a video. They were all locked. But on my ship tour, I was able to get in, and you'll see what they look like inside if you go onto that video. But yeah, I like that. Again, we're on deck 16 there, looking down at 15. So this is the social club. This is where they have a lot of games, a couple of shuffleboards right there. In here, you can get free hot dogs, popcorn, chicken wings, pretzels, and all that good stuff. They have milkshakes up there as well. They are not free. Some alcoholic ones too. So that's what you can get up in here. They do sometimes have a bar available, very limited menu, more just beers than anything else. But just past there is the Loose Cannon bar, which is a full bar. We watched the Super Bowl in here, and they do a lot of trivia and stuff in this room as well. Another little game room on the right there is that Loose Cannon bar I was telling you about. So if they don't have the bar open or what you want, just go in there. They've got everything. There's a couple of foosball tables, a couple of air hockey tables, as you can see. And another thing I'll say, nothing was ever crowded, so you had to wait forever. If you wanted to play one of these games, you may have had to wait 5 minutes, but no more. It was never overly busy for anything. It's a well-designed ship, and I think everything was spread out quite nicely with plenty of things for people to do, so nothing got too busy. And this is this is cool. This is a arcade. Now, they have an arcade on Carnival, but it's for the kids. This is an arcade for adults, because there are no kids on Virgin, 18 and up. So you'll see Space Invaders there. They had Caterpillar, they had Golden Tee, and these are all free. So if you want to come back and relive your childhood a little bit, a little competition with your friends, you can come down here and have a little play on some of these. But again, never got overly crowded. People didn't just hog it for like 3 hours or anything. People just came and went. And that's the theme on this ship. People, they don't really stick around in one place for very long. They come and go. So, yeah, it's nice and relaxing all week. And in 5 days, we certainly didn't have enough time to cover everything. We could have done a back-to-back and still not covered everything. This is a sip bar, the front of it. This is where they do the afternoon tea. When we were on, it's between $19 and $36, depending on what you wanted. You have to make a reservation in advance on the app, but it gets very busy. And down here is the main bar. This is like the closest you'll get to the Alchemy. They got all the liquor and everything behind there. They do a lot of champagne as well. But that's the sip bar. This is down on deck 6. And then looking straight ahead, there's the Red Room. That's where they do a lot of the shows on deck 6 and deck 7. If we go down to deck 5, you're going to see Sailor Services. Not very big. This is where you'll go. This is your equivalent of guest services. That's the Mexican restaurant in the distance. But most of the restaurants are on deck 6. Some are on deck 5. One on deck 15, that's Gumbai. This is the back pool, kind of similar to how you'll see it on Carnival, but one thing I like about this, as well as there being another bar there, you can also get the music. The speakers are in the back as well as on the other bar, so it's like an even spread of music across the whole thing. So I like that. And then the last thing I'm going to show you before I wrap up with some pictures is the lunch and breakfast area. So they don't have a main dining room. You'll have restaurants for dinner. They got 6 restaurants you can choose from. Also, in 2 of those restaurants, you can do a brunch in the Razzle Dazzle, which is a vegetarian one, and the steakhouse. So on top of this area, you've got those 2 as breakfast lunch options. But there's a sushi place, and there's something for everybody in here. Again, there's way more choices than you could get to during the week. We only went in here once. There was so much going on. We had 2 port days. There's a diner. 2 sea days, basically, is what we had. And we went to the brunches on the 2 sea days. There's some breakfast cereal and stuff there. There's a bread place there. There's a pastry place there. Yeah, we really didn't get to take a full opportunity of everything because we didn't have time. There's a Oh yeah, that's healthy food. Yeah, forgot about that. Although I need to be doing that, the amount of weight I'm putting on. Another coffee station and stuff like that. So you'll see there's plenty of different food options for lunch and breakfast. There's something for everybody. They also have a grab and go section. You'll see these shutters that are pulled down over there. That's where a lot of people will do during the day as well if you just want to grab something. They have similar on Carnival in areas, but they got it on a few more areas on this ship. We just passed the drink station as well. Don't forget on here, sodas, waters, everything is free on this ship. It's all included in the price, which is a big deal if you like that stuff. I'm going to take you back around the other side as well, because there's a few more little restaurant things I haven't shown you, and then I'll finish you up with some pictures. Again, this is just designed to be like a little bit of a show and tell, give you a feel of what a Virgin ship looks like, and you can compare it in your head to a Carnival one. There's a popsicle stand right there, and these are here every day, filled up. There's a taco place there. Everybody loved that one. The fried avocado taco was one of the popular ones. And there's a couple more restaurants down here. There's another drink station on the right there. Again, very, very good thing that they have all the sodas and everything are free. Waters. There's a water jug in your room, so you haven't got to worry about that. There's a noodle place. I didn't even get a chance to go there. I love my noodles. And there's a deli. So that's all your main kind of quote-unquote restaurants that you can go to for, not restaurants, like mini stops for lunch and breakfast. They're not all open at breakfast, but they'll pretty much all be open for lunch. Some pictures. Don't forget notifications. They're not going to make announcements. When you go ashore in most of the ports, you'll get a note on your app. You can go ashore now, so check it. I wish they would make announcements on that, but they do not. So you need to have the app. If ever you did on any ship, it's this one. That's the back of the ship. That's the dock at the bottom. They're the Rockstar quarters up above. Give you a bit of a feel for what they look like. Some of them are huge. In Cozumel, you stop at a different dock, so I put the prices of all the taxis up there for you to see. And some pictures of the food. These are churros, the brunch in the Razzle Dazzle, beef carpaccio. What I'm really trying to get across here is the presentation of the food as well as the taste is next level. You just wouldn't probably get much food served to you on Carnival unless you're at chef's table that looks like this, and this is an everyday serving. That's bacon. The pastries, these are some of the ones you also saw in the coffee place. That was in the Razzle Dazzle brunch. Eggs Benedict. You just don't get it served like this on a lot of other cruise ships. This was especially in the Mexican. Halibut, lobster, and scallop. You paid a bit extra for that. That was optional. They have poke bowls and tuna bowls and stuff like that up in the Sun Club Cafe. That was us in Cozumel looking back at the ship. Just giving you a quick feel. Julie in the hammock on our balcony. Most of the balconies have a hammock. This is the menu in the draft house to give you an idea of some of the beers. Now, don't get too carried away. They're not always there because I found that to my chagrin. But there's also some beers that are there that weren't on here. So that's just a guide to give you an idea of the variety of beers that they have in there. When you get off the ship, there won't be a stand telling you when to come back on. It'll be on a TV screen. This is another picture of that damn case that wouldn't fit under the bed. So annoying. This is that Manor picture I told you about. That massive mirror wall with some lights in it. It's very cool for a picture. And I want to end you with this. In lieu of a sign and sail card, they have this little wristlet. When you go onto the ship at embarkation, you don't bring your boarding pass. You don't bring luggage tags. You're already set on where you're going to go to check in. Check-in is really smooth and really efficient. They give you a luggage tag when you show up. They'll write your room on it, so make sure you do know the room number, and then they'll take your bags off. When you go through the embarkation area and you check in at a desk when it's your turn, they're going to give you one of these. That is not how to put it on. That's our friend Tim. Anybody that's been on Virgin knows that is a complete disaster. I put this picture up as a joke, but if you put it on correctly, it will never fall off. Mine didn't. They are waterproof. I wore it in the shower all week, and you will use this just like you would a sign and sail card. You pay for your drinks with it. You get in the room with it. You do everything with it. You could take it. We took it ashore on Bimini when we went to the beach club at Bimini, and they were able to charge drinks on it there. Just everything. I really enjoyed having this. For me, it was better than the sign and sail card. I didn't have to worry about losing it. Where was it? Is it falling off my? I don't have to put a lanyard on. Did I put it back in my pocket, etc., etc. So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, just an overall great experience. We had a couple of little. I talked about at the beginning, but that's kind of a little bit of nitpicking. It wasn't enough to ruin the cruise, but it certainly could have been better. But nothing's perfect, is it? And with that, I hope that was helpful. Again, I want to stress one more time. I'm going to put a link in the comments to a full ship tour and a restaurant tour, but I want to make sure you understand. I wasn't trying to give you a full tour of everything here. I'm just trying to give you a bit of an overview of how some of the things look so you can see the difference between Carnival primarily and a Virgin cruise ship.
All right, there you go. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful for you and you could, relate to the differences to some extent. One thing I wish I could have shown you was the Scarlet Night that they do. This one, wearing my Scarlet Night suit I bought especially for the cruise. So once a cruise, they'll do a big party, kind of like the White Night on Carnival, but way more involved. Where the last time we were on, they did, we went up onto the Lido deck on the, it's deck 6, or not, whatever deck it is, 16, deck 16. Or 15, I can't remember, it doesn't matter. And they had massive inflatable octopuses up there, and it was a real show, way better than Carnival would do a white party. It wasn't just people doing the Cupid Shuffle and the or whatever, but it's a phenomenal show on the red night. So and everybody got involved. So many people on the ship were wearing red, way more than would ever wear white for White Night on Carnival, because they do let you know about all that stuff in advance to a great deal. Another thing I forgot to mention in the beginning of this was how great the pre-stuff is, because you can go online in advance and book your meals, and make sure, that is one big thing, make sure if you do a Virgin cruise, make sure you know what day you can go on and make your restaurant reservations, and do them immediately, because they will fill out. And don't leave yourself getting on the ship to find out when you eat. There's no dining room. There's only restaurants, and you have to make all the reservations in advance. If you don't and you wait till you get on the ship, you're not going to get good times to eat. I promise you. Do that in advance. But another thing I loved was that the whole schedule of what was happening on the ship, you could see that in advance, right? You knew the events that were happening pretty much each day. They did add a lot during the cruise, but you've got a really good idea how the flow of the event was going to do. And then one more thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning that we made the mistake of not doing was, if you want to go to any of the shows on board, book them as soon as you get on board the ship, because they will sell out. One of my, I guess it's another disappointment I had, was that there really wasn't much nightlife on this ship. There's no comedy club or anything like that. So I went to bed early every night. I got the best sleep I've ever had. It truly is a relaxing cruise. I wasn't out past 11 o'clock, I don't think, once during this cruise, because there wasn't much to do late at night. But in a way, that was a very good thing, because I got good night's sleep and I was ready to go out the next morning. But they'll typically have like clubs and bands playing till late. But other than that, not much. They got a poker room that you saw that you could play late in. But yeah, those shows, the theatre's not the largest theater. And if you don't, when we got on board, there was a massive line, but we were waiting to watch the Super Bowl. So we kind of ignored that line. I wish we hadn't. I wish we'd got in line and booked it, because one of the shows was a circus type show. It looked really good, like a Cirque du Soleil type show. And we missed that because it was sold out. There is a wait list. You could walk up and hopefully get in, but there's no guarantee. And there were 6 of us, so we didn't know we'd get in. So again, a couple of things to be aware of, but I'm telling you, I'm nitpicking. It's a great cruise line. I recommend everybody to try it at least once. They do 4-day cruises, they do 5-day cruises. Do a short one and just see. The fact that it's adult only makes such a huge difference. The fact that there's no cruise director, no announcements all the time, no photographers following you around everywhere, and a really nice crew, but they keep themselves to themselves. It's the anti-Carnival cruise, if you like. And I love Carnival. It's not going to stop me cruising Carnival at all. But it's a nice option. It's a nice experience, and I recommend it to anybody. And with that, I feel like I've waffled ridiculously in this video. Subscribe. Hit that bell. You'll get notifications when my videos come out. I try and do a cruising tips video every Monday. Please send me your tips. I need them. I'm trying to get to 150 or so now. We're closing in on 100, but I want to get to 150. So send me your tips. Send me your cruising traditions. If you have any questions, my email is coming up at the end of this video. Please send me your questions. If I don't know the answer, I know people, and I'll get you the answer. And with that, try Virgin. I will see you later, Cruising World. But just don't do a Super Bowl box, and be aware of that thing at Bimini. and book your meals early and book shows early. I'll see you later, Cruising World.
Any questions? Email me anytime. cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. I promise I'll reply as soon as possible. Want to book a cruise or any type of travel? We are travel agents. Check out our site, elitetravelconnection.com, or email me, mick@elitetravelconnection.com. We are here for you. Finally, subscribe, please. Pretty please. You know you want to. Go on. I won't beg you. Okay, I'm begging. Please. Subscribe. Thank you.